What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's kind of more of a tool video that I like to touch on a little bit, working on these things or cars and trucks. You're gonna need tools, or just having a garage or a house, you're gonna need tools. And I've had this Craftsman tool set for quite some time now. And I got some things I like, I got some things I hate, and tell you guys whether it's worth the money. I think they changed the kit up a little bit more from what I was looking at, or I was just looking at the wrong one. So the one that I saw was about $300, and you got everything but the jigsaw. Because of 6 tools for 300 bucks. Which I don't know if they just took that out of it because Craftsman does weird things now, or I just couldn't find the right one. But somewhere around that price, I'm sure you can find one with it, or maybe they just make you buy it separately. I don't know. But kind of like the John Manalclini, or however you're gonna say that. I like his videos a lot. I think they're fun, so I figured I would try a little bit more of my own. So we'll start off with the old Sawzall. The blades that come with are gonna be more on the junk side. Obviously, it's kind of how any tool is. I've used this thing on a lot of things. I've used it for a lot of things you're not supposed to. I've used it to cut branches and pallets and whatever else, which I guess technically it is kind of what it's for, but done that. I've used it to cut all the metal, random stuff in the world, drive shaft off this thing to get it out easier, save myself time. I've done exhausts. I've done this, I've done that. The house we had a DirecTV dish out in the front yard. I used that to cut it down. I threw a Milwaukee blade in it, and it eats pretty good. Gives you a little too much vibrations. You get that real tingly feeling up in your arm after using it for a minute. Overall, not too bad. It does what it needs to do. They don't give you too much hand room. I don't have like giant hands or anything. I'd say they're more on the skinnier side. Get the variable trigger, you get a lockout, you get the quick release and whatnot on it. She's done the job. It doesn't absolutely murder batteries or anything. I've always just used like the 2.0 batteries on this thing. She's done me pretty good over the years. Multi-tool. I didn't use this one for a lot of years. I definitely used it a lot whenever I redid this garage, to cut out like the outlet holes and everything in the OSB and whatever else. It's a vibration tool. You're going to get vibrations. I do want to say I think the Milwaukee one is a little bit more efficient with cutting and trimming things. This one's loud. You get the vibrations. It does work a lot better than the other cheaper brands I've tried. But I don't think it's the most efficient one. But overall, it's not a bad tool. The old jigsaw, I don't think I've used that one that much. I've used it here and there. I think I've used it for a couple parts of the walls. I think. I don't really remember. I've used it for redoing the doors in the house and whatnot, and cutting holes in sub boxes. I'd say it's one of the smoother ones. I don't mind it. It works good. It's a simple tool. It's really hard to screw up a jigsaw. They give you a little bit more room in the hand. Variable trigger. You get your speeds. I believe this, do you tilt? Yeah, this tilts and does all the fun stuff you need. It's also got the quick release, which is nice. It's really easy. It's metal. That way if you drop it, it doesn't just snap and you have a junk tool. Not bad on the vibrations or anything. I'd say it's probably on the heavier side. Not a bad tool. I'd buy it again. especially if I was already in the platform, since batteries are really expensive for these things. The circular saw, what is this, like a 6" or something? Yeah, like 6.5, something like that. You know, it's on pretty well balanced, not bad. Or ergonomics aren't terrible. It doesn't have any balls though. I would say this thing is. I would not buy this, honestly. If I were just to piece this all out together, I wouldn't buy it. You know, it's got a majority of well, like the important parts, like the plate's metal. I don't like that. You get one good fall, this thing's as good as junk. All this is metal. You got the metal screws. I mean, it's not built bad. It just doesn't have any balls to it. I mean, it might benefit from a bigger battery, but I know I've seen DeWalt ones with like the same size battery just absolutely like blow through thicker wood than what I was doing with this. I mean, the OSB in here is 3/4 of an inch, I think. I went on the thicker side. And this thing, I mean, it might be. No, I've used this blade on other things and it's worked just fine. This blade is for OSB and whatnot, and it just didn't have any balls. Really, anytime I used it, it bogs down. It's like maybe a nicer blade might help it, but I think it's just missing out on the power. Other than that, it was fine. I mean, maybe with, you know, like I said, a lot nicer of a blade and a bigger battery, it might be able to wake it up a little bit, but I think it was just made on the cheaper side. This light comes with, I mean, it's hard to screw up the light. Where's the battery? I'll grab one of these Ching Chong batteries. Actually, I'll do an actual Craftsman battery. So, I mean, it lights up. It works. It's pretty similar to most other batteries. Not batteries, lights. You know, it gives you the light you need. Not much to talk about it here. You set it down and put it wherever you want and it lights up. Not too bad. I don't know what these things cost individually, but you know, if it's cheap enough, I'd definitely buy it, especially if you're in the battery system. Not too shabby. I've definitely thrown this thing a few times and it's still fine. Somehow. It's obviously been used lots. This thing's almost black. Hard to beat. The light. Probably on the cheaper side being Craftsman. The drill. I don't think there's many differences in drills nowadays other than, you know, maybe just how it's built. I know this one looks very similar to the Milwaukee one. I'd say probably the older Milwaukee ones. I think they all have a metal chuck now. But like the same style, it was similar. It looks very identical. I have beaten the ever-living shit out of this thing. I've had it smoking multiple times, being hot. She hasn't given up on me yet. I want to say I've probably had these over 5 years or something. And this was definitely my most used tool. I'd use it for polishing up American forces and drilling out holes on the old Jeep, because I did 1-ton steering. You had to drill out the spindle on it to fit the bigger nut, and I threw the absolute biggest drill bit you could in this thing and keep going until it would stop, and then just keep going and going and going. I've had it where it like physically burns your hand when you're touching it. I'm surprised it still works, to be honest. I mean, if you like Craftsman, you're already in the battery, I would definitely buy it. I have beaten the crap out of this thing religiously, and it still keeps chucking along. The old impact driver. I didn't care to use it whenever I bought this kit originally. I didn't really have too much of a use because of the parents still when I bought this kit. Moved into my own house, I started using this thing a lot more. I've think this is the only one I've used. It's honestly pretty nice. You got the metal release and whatnot. Grab this thing. I think this should be a necessary feature on every single one. It's got the where you just put it in and she's in there. You only need to pull it to release it. That should be on everything. I think that's just a really nice feature. I think most of the name brand ones now have that. I'm not driving lag bolts in or anything on it, but I have really grown to like it. I mean, it's the only one I've used, the only one I've had. Obviously this one, kind of like the Jigsaw, still looks fairly new. Well, I guess I have driven the 2 lag bolts for the TV mount, which, you know, that's nothing crazy. It's not like construction work where you're driving a 12-inch lag, but it doesn't sit there and vibrate the hell out of you. It does what it's supposed to. I'd say it's overall a good tool. I have some other Craftsman stuff that was not in this kit, but we'll go ahead and do a memorable some mentions while we're already here. Sander, I had it a year. I painted a car or 2 with using this thing. I don't have a good experience because the Velcro pad like just doesn't like Velcro anymore. Like it Velcros in like the middle and that's like it. I tried to go warranty it, and Craftsman likes to do this thing where they change the product number like every year or something, so you can't warranty it. That's something I'd definitely be worried about. I know a lot of other people I know have had that issue, so now we kind of stay away from Craftsman. It's like, yeah, they have a good warranty, go warranty out at Lowe's, but if the product number's changed, you're kind of shit out of luck on it. And, you know, buying a name brand tool, the warranty is kind of the other half. You pay all the money to have a good warranty, and you go for a good product where you shouldn't need to use the warranty, but it's supposed to have it because it's a good reputable company. Well, that's one issue I've had with that. My Milwaukee one, I think it's extremely similar in price. I would go with a wired one anyway, just it helps with productivity. You're not swapping batteries out and you could just have the job done. But it was a nice option if you didn't have a cord, do something quick and easy. But that backing pad, I personally wouldn't buy that one. Just my experience. Heat gun, hard to really fuck up a heat gun, honestly. It heats, it works. I've had it for a while. I've tinted 10, 20 vehicles with it. I've used it to do random miscellaneous things. It works. It's not bad on price. The wireless ones, they don't get as hot. They just suck. I'd go wired. I'd buy this one. You don't even have to be in the Craftsman battery category since it's a plug-in. Good, cheap. It's worked for a while. I think the last thing I have really is a speaker. I didn't buy that one. That was a gift. It's not a bad speaker. Sounds pretty good. It's got a good bass and everything. Doesn't get super loud. It's not like my JBL party box that are behind those wheels. It works if you're in the battery platform. It's great. I want to say, I could be wrong. I felt like it came with a plug to plug it into a wall. Yeah, it definitely did. I have absolutely no idea where that ended up though. So that's a nice feature. You don't have to have it on a battery. You can plug it in as long as you don't lose the cord. If you're in the battery category, I'd say it's worth it for a job site speaker. Throw it in there. I've had it in a Razor and did a trip with it. It set really nice right here in between the 2 seats, and it didn't move the entire trip. I used 1 battery on it the entire day and still had plenty of life. I'd say buy it if you're already in the battery market for it. I had a 1/2 inch impact At one point, I sold that to my dad because he didn't have a cordless one. It's okay for the price. I think it was the lacking power. I honestly think it didn't have that much more power than this little guy. I mean, it had a little bit more, but maybe 20 or 40 foot-pounds. It wasn't crazy expensive. It wasn't crazy expensive, but it also didn't have crazy power. The 1/2-inch Milwaukee, it's gonna beat it out all day long. If you're just wanting it to change out wheels and tires and whatnot, it's not a bad tool. If you're sitting there trying to take transmissions in and out and any kind of like heavy application, I would recommend buying probably the DeWalt or the Milwaukee. It's good for wheels and tires. You're not gonna strip out studs or anything. Just the lack of power. That thing will blow your studs out because how much power it has. Just doing the casual person, rotating wheels and tires, I'd say buy it. Heavy application, I wouldn't. But you know, back to our main point of this here toolkit. Knowing what I know now, it was only $300. I think the similar comparison type of kit from Milwaukee is $600 to $700. I believe whenever I priced them out recently. Don't quote me 100% on that. I know there's sales and whatnot, and you can buy things cheaper at different times, but if you're gonna be like the normal everyday homeowner and do small projects here and there, I'd say it's worth it. For me, I'd say I'm a little rougher on tools. I'm doing things with this, vehicles, projects. I'm hard on stuff. I use tools for what they're not supposed to be used for. If you're kind of like me, I'd say spend the extra money and go ahead and buy probably a DeWalt in Milwaukee. I know they don't change their product numbers, and then you're shit out of luck on warranty. You can always send tools in and have it warranted. They'll send you usually a brand new tool back. I've had to do that with my grease gun, wherever it ended up. There. I've had that one warranted. I'd have had my cutoff wheel warranted. Not a problem. So I'd say that's a pretty heavy thing to think about if you're gonna buy something. I don't know if they change the product numbers on the entire toolkits or whatnot as often. It's really, you're gonna have to do your research on that and make sure it's gonna be a good fit. But if you're a can't speak. If you're a light homeowner, I'd say this kit's gonna last you for forever. It's gonna do everything you're gonna need to do. So really the only negative I have in this kit is this circular saw. And maybe put a Milwaukee blade on there and maybe a bigger battery. It might work better, but I wasn't gonna buy a battery. I'm transferring over to Milwaukee. Warranty is a big deal to me. You know, if you can't sit there and warranty out your stuff, what's that really say about your product? Since they have different ownership now. It's kind of, I want to say they're more on the Chinese side. I don't remember exactly who bought who out. I think they used to be owned by Sears and now they don't. And back then, you know, the old school Craftsman stuff lasts for forever. It was good stuff. Definitely went down in quality, but all these tools, they're gonna do what you need to do. Normal homeowner, I'd say it's a green light. Go ahead and buy it. If you're someone like me, I'd say spend the extra money. Well, yeah, I hope this guy, I still cannot talk. I hope this video gives you some more information if you're thinking about spending the money. You know, you might be like a contractor starting out or whatnot. It'll get you started, do what it needs to do. I'm sure there's plenty of other people that run Craftsman. You know, everybody has their own die-hard tool brand they like. But it never hurts to put the information out there. You might help somebody buy the right tool once. I'm more of a buy once, cry once type of person. Especially now that we've learned a little bit more. But yeah, hope this helps you guys out. If you don't mind, like, comment, subscribe. Helps me out, helps you guys out. You might see some more stuff that you want to see. I try to do a wide range of tools, vehicles. I like to do detailing every once in a while. Just put the information out there, have a good time, and make some videos. But until next time, guys.